It was the Chinese authorities aiming for peaceful reunification with Taiwan, and serendipitously you are in Taipei. How's the reaction there?
Absolutely, yes. Well, in some ways, this sort of quote-unquote peaceful reunification language is very much status quo for Beijing, reiterating once again that it's seeking sort of political sovereign control over Taiwan, but not through sort of aggressive military measures. So not entirely surprising, but of course is quite a sharp contrast with some of the very hawkish language we've seen out of the US, particularly with all of these meetings in Congress, where there has been this growing concern that China might take some kind of aggressive military action, particularly around the sort of possible 2027 timeline, which is the deadline that Beijing itself sets to have a fully modern Chinese army.
And this coming on back what we heard from Li Keqiang talking about, you know, this whole nation stance on tech. There's a bit of kind of a shift to more self-reliance, whether it's with semiconductors, with AI, the like here. And we're hearing that maybe the U.S. is ready to implement more curbs when it comes to the tech space in China as well. What more do we know at this point?
Well, of course, this sort of tech standoff between the US and China has been a central part of these spiraling times. On the Biden front, we don't have a lot of details, but it does look like this sort of policy is going to focus more on these very advanced technologies, so things like code breaking, encryption, anything to do with quantum computing as well. There may be some difficulties there because, of course, some of this tech in China is dual technology. And the other question will be precisely how far D.C. and precisely how far the Biden administration is willing to go in somewhat politicizing Wall Street, whether this type of move is going to, say, target index funds or more passive funds, which it looks less likely now, or whether they'll start with a more targeted and focused approach, perhaps looking at private equity, say.